Let's not pretend that these creators are the sole reason these companies are valuable.
Sure.
You know, and what we're talking about in many cases, you know, I was a trader, okay? And I'm worth millions of quid. And, you know, now that is just assets. I just own the assets. Mm-hmm. I own the assets. And that will grow and it will grow and it will grow and it will grow. And that will squeeze out and squeeze out and squeeze out and squeeze out our viewers. And I'll give that to my kids. They don't even need to work. Mm. They wouldn't even have to work. They could just live on, I could live on off the wealth. Is that what you want?
Do you think there are any opportunities for people today? Like if you're born into a poor family, do you think it's possible that housing being shit, and we can both agree on that, but do you think there are new opportunities that didn't exist for our parents or grandparents, but they do exist for people today?
I think the reality is, for kids from poor backgrounds, it is almost impossible to realistically get even financial security, never mind wealth.
But why do you think you could do it, I could do it, he could do it, but you don't think other people could do it?
Well, the first thing is I'm 38 now, so I'm not a kid nowadays. Listen, I won every maths competition I've ever been in, you know what I mean, since I was a little kid. I didn't even have a desk in my house, you know. I was one of the top students at LSE, and I still had to win my job by cheating in the card game. You know, that's the world that we live in. I don't think that's a very replicable strategy. And look, it's very easy for people like us who've made money to say, oh, we did it, aren't we great? Go out and, you know, you've said that you think if young people go and work in a tech business, they can get financial security. If it was that easy, they'd all be doing it. You know, they're not idiots. Our viewers are not idiots. They're trying. They're trying. They want to find the good opportunities, and they work. Listen, they're working so hard.
I'm not the one saying they're idiots. You're the one who says that they can't do it anymore. I see people do it all the time. Like I'm working in entrepreneur.
People from poor backgrounds. But then why are our viewers? You think all of our viewers? If it was that easy, why is everybody not doing it?
I'll tell you why people aren't doing it. We went through a schooling system that taught us how to get an office job.
Okay.
Right. We went through a schooling system to prepare us for a world that doesn't really exist anymore, which is the Industrial Revolution world. And you have to go through a process of figuring out how it really works. Okay. So what I see is the most often the people who do really well financially who are young, they dropped out of school, they dropped out of university, they started learning how to do things by doing their own research. They start their own business or co-found a business. They take a very alternative path. None of that was taught to us at school. None of it's taught to us in normal society. We have a school system that manufactures people for a set of skills that are not particularly valuable anymore. Yeah. And we also get them in debt for those skills. When people sidestep that and say, okay, I'm not going to get into university debt, I'm just going to go off and actually figure out how the world works, there's actually loads of opportunities.
Okay, so I guess we've sorted it then. All of our viewers need to do is go and buy Dan's book, become an entrepreneur and become a millionaire. It's that easy. Why weren't you guys doing it to begin with? They're idiots. The viewers are idiots. They should be just being more entrepreneurial. It's as simple as that. More entrepreneurial, start a business. Listen, I come from East London, okay? My friends can't feed their kids, okay? And if it was as simple as going out and being an entrepreneur, I can bet you they would do it. I can bet you they would do it. I'm sick of multimillionaires telling kids who can't afford to turn the heating on, you just need to be more entrepreneurial. It's sick, Dan, it's sick. But this gives people mental illness. It gives people mental illness. Tell them the truth, okay? We, your older generation, we took the opportunities and now it is almost impossible to get out of poverty. And don't just stand up there and wave, you know, your millions of pounds in front of them and say, if you were entrepreneurial like me, you could do it, you could have it. Because it's sick because they can't. They can't feed their kids, Dan. They can't turn the heating on. Don't tell them to be more entrepreneurial. Fix the system that drives more and more and more of them into poverty every generation.
I find it very strange that you think it would be easier to fix the entire global economic system than to start a business and fix your own personal economics. The thing that I know that gives people mental health issues is feeling that they have no agency in their life, that they can't do anything. Your video where you talk about if you don't have a rich dad, you're screwed. There's no such thing as meritocracy. You're never going to be successful. To me, if I had have come across your content at 19, 20 years old, I would have been screwed. I'm so glad that I came across people who said, Daniel, you weren't born into a rich family. You don't have any bank of mum and dad, but it's cheap and easier than ever to start a business. Start by working for someone who's got a business, then figure out what's your opportunity. And there's a way. There is a way. I've actually worked with a lot of teenagers from poor backgrounds. And one of the things we do is we tell them, if it's possible for someone else, it is possible for you. I also worked in rural Uganda with a charity that did work with the poorest of the poor. One of the most incredible things I ever saw was a woman who started out literally picking food out of a trash pile. And she was basically, they shared with her how to start a chicken business, which then ended up as a pig business, which then ended up as a cattle business. And she ended up hiring 15, 16 people in her local community. The power of entrepreneurship is that starting with nothing, you can actually make improvements. I'm not saying everyone ends up as a millionaire, and I'm not saying everyone ends up equal, but I'm saying you can make improvements in your life. And the thing that causes mental health issues is the feeling of having no agency or no control over your circumstances until the world changes the whole economic system.
Listen, I never told people don't work hard. I never once said that. Never once said that.
You
said
said if your dad wasn't rich, you'll never be rich.
Which is true in 99.9% of cases. I've never told people don't work
That's
hard.
actually
I've
not
never
true in
told people-
99%
listen,
of cases.
I've never told people don't work hard, okay? And listen, if you think that Ugandans should be more entrepreneurial, I've never been to Uganda, maybe that's the problem out there, maybe that's the problem in Nigeria, maybe that's the problem in India. Listen, I've never said don't work hard, okay? When I brought my book out last year, the hardback, I was at some event and I come out, I was drinking in London Bridge, and I come out late, it was like 1 a.m. And some guy come up to me when I was unlocking my bike. Some guy from Newcastle, which is the northeast of England. It's this quite poor town. There's a lot of working class people there. And he said, I've been watching you on YouTube and I love your stuff. And this guy started crying. This guy started crying on the street, right, in front of me. He's like, I work so hard, Gary. I work 2 jobs. My mum's sick and I'm trying to help, I'm trying to support, and I don't understand why. And I'm sorry that I'm crying, but nobody ever told me that it wasn't my fault before. That's what he said to me, okay? And listen, I believe 100% aspiration, ambition, entrepreneurial spirit. I would never see a kid that has that and say, turn it off, okay? But the flip side of if you just work hard enough, you can make it, is if you didn't make it, it's because you didn't work hard enough and it's your fault. And I would like you to sit and think very hard before you send that message to young men and young women in our society.
Meritocracy doesn't mean that everyone ends up with the same result. Here's what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to achieve the people who have ambition, who can go for it, are incentivized to do it and incentivized to build jobs and build companies.
And
that
what
will
about the
employ
ones
other
that just
people.
want to work hard and have a good family and take care of them and have a home and be able to turn the heating on and be able to have financial security?
They need to work for a business, don't they?
They need to work for you?
Yeah. Pardon?
They need to work
They
for you?
would need to work for a business, some business, right? If someone doesn't create that business, then where do they work for? We now have, by the way, 11% of working age people are now declared too sick to work, right? We have a huge problem in the UK. We also have 25% of people who are working age don't work. It's 1 in 7 men don't work at all.
Do you think they're lazy, Dan?
I think the system is collapsing.
Do you think
the system is
the
changing.
average British American
Here's
is
what
not
I
working
think.
is lazy?
What I think is happening is that the technology companies are totally transforming and disrupting everything. And what happened is around the post-war era, we had good jobs. We had, you could work in a local thing. What's happening now is that jobs are going to the Philippines. They're going to, technology does 3 things. It makes jobs more simple, which makes them replaceable. It makes jobs global, where you can move them to anywhere else. And then ultimately it automates the job altogether and gets rid of it through code and software. And what's really going on in the last, especially 5 years since the pandemic, is technology has decimated the existing systems that we all relied upon when we grew up. And when I say the education system isn't really working, it's still pretending that there are office jobs available for people when they graduate. And it's still pretending that there's like 1950s scenarios available when actually my kids are going to be disrupted by AI. Everyone's kids are going to be disrupted by AI. These sorts of things are the things that really we also need to be talking about.